Hey, Gerald, welcome back.
Oh, thanks for having me.
Always. So we had this, what appeared to be a chemical attack, purported chemical attack by the Syrian government upon its citizens, hardly proven, hardly established. And that led to an attack by the U.S., Great Britain, and France that seemed to have been kind of a meaningless type of attack. What's, not much to come out of it, right?
Well, it's meaningless in the sense that, there's no proof. I know nobody's shown any proof. It's suspected. We believe. I mean, could you go to court with anything like this? I mean, and it's the same thing that happened with that Skripal thing over in the UK, blaming it on Russia, the chemical attack. They poisoned the guy. Could you show us that? Well, we can't. This was the most deadly poison that, ever invented in the world.
Known to man.
Oh, yeah, now everybody's still living, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So I guess it wasn't the most deadly of anything. Mm-hmm. So it's all propaganda. And again, no proof. And the reality is this. The Syrian government had just about wiped out the people in that region, Doma, in the city, the rebels, the so-called rebels, the opposition. So they weren't going to use gas, and then again, all of this outrage. Oh, they used gas, chlorine gas. Hey, it's okay to carpet bomb. Hey, how about those depleted uranium bombs, huh? Hey, I got it. How about the mother of all bombs? Oh, that's fine. Yeah. Depleted uranium, cluster bombs, mother of all bombs. What bombs did I leave out, But don't use any gas. Gas is bad. What hypocrisy. What a bunch of crap. And the people swallow the crap that's being shoved down their throat by the prostitute media and the people that are in charge, the psychopaths and sociopaths. Look what they've done to Raqqa. Take a trip to Mosul. Go through Iraq. How about Libya? Cities incinerated by the United States and its coalition of the killing, and I got some whack off with their crap that, I can't stand to see these poor little children that is dying of gas. Screw off. Who are you talking to? I'll tell you who you're talking to. You're talking to a bunch of gutless people called Americans, French, and British that let their freaks run and ruin their lives.
Yeah.
What a disgrace this is. 1 million people killed in Iraq, Afghanistan. The United States behind the slaughter of Syria, over 400,000 people dead. Oh, but they use chlorine gas, and chlorine gas isn't supposed to be used. Get out of here. Who are you talking to? You're talking to courageless people, that's who.
Yeah, remember Obama wanted to attack Syria, and there was like a massive uproar here, and he backed off the last minute. He didn't do it. So there was a silent kind of war going on, not an open war. I mean, our people were there. I mean, where does this all end here, Gerald? Where does it stop?
It stops when the people change it. I mean, what they just did is totally illegal. You don't attack another nation when there was no threat to you and there's no proof of anything. It's against the Constitution. It's against the constitutions in the UK and in France as well. And the freaks in charge do what they want. That's where it's going. And you're talking about what happened with Obama was that you would go back to the other war criminal, Bush. He was able to pull off Iraq because the UK backed him up. that other war criminal, that little piece of crap, Tony Blair. How could these people get away with it? These little boys of nothing that couldn't fight their way. Could you imagine Tony Blair in a fight? Or Obama or Bush?
Not really.
No.
Yeah, crazy.
As we say in the Bronx, they wouldn't know whether to piss or shit. They wouldn't know how to fight their way out of a paper bag. But yet they're so brave sending other people. So going back to Obama, what happened was Bush was able to pull off Iraq because the UK went in with him. France wouldn't. Mm-hmm. Obama backed out when the UK would not bomb Syria. Right. That's what happened.
Mm-hmm. Interesting. So we can't go it alone. We always need enablers effectively. Is that the way this works?
That's it. So to make it so it doesn't look like there's one psychopath, there's three of them.
There's safety in numbers.
We also noted that they were going to do it on a weekend when the markets were closed.
Yeah, interesting.
Because when you go over the past 3 weeks, every time there was fear of Middle East tensions escalating, the equity markets would go down 200, 300 points. Mm-hmm. They waited till Friday night after the markets were closed.
Really? Yeah, well, it seemed kind of obvious. They didn't want to disturb the market. I mean, that's a little bit cynical, to say the least. Time your attacks as to not upset the financial markets.
Well, they do it all the time.
Yeah.
Any time the government is obligated, or most times I should say, they're obligated to release information that paints a dirty picture of who they are.
Yeah.
They wait until late Friday after all the news places in D.C. they've closed up for the weekend. And Saturday is the least watched and least read day of news.
Yeah.
So I've been writing about this in my books, Trends 2000, Trend Tracking, and our Trends Journal. This is a way that they do it. Mm-hmm. So we had notified our people and said, look, if they're going to do anything, it'll happen over the weekend. They don't want to disturb the markets. And that's exactly what happened.
Yeah. Yeah. So here we are, Monday morning, and the market's up 200 points. So war is good for the markets. I don't know what to think here. Is that just an isolated strike, Gerald, and are we done with this now? Like Trump had to make a stand and now we can move on?
I don't know. I can't believe anything this guy says.
Yeah. Well,
I'm totally behind him in the way he looks at the imbalance of trade. But on the war footing, I'm totally against this. I launched Occupy Peace. I put my money where my heart is. I just don't talk a game. I play it.
Absolutely.
And so I don't agree with this at all. And what are they? 100 missiles they sent in? And what are we talking about? $1 million a missile or something?
Yeah, it's not a good ROI. Not a good ROI, is it?
No, not at all.
Yeah. So it seems like it was just some pointless kind of show. And there was nothing really. Don't know what the goal was. Don't know what they expected from it. But it really kind of was a dud. Like many of these missiles are. It was just a dud.
I know.
So
and for what? Could you imagine? I mean, this is not what this country was founded upon.
Yeah, definitely.
And to have this keep going on and nobody fighting back against it, where are all these people? Oh, you want to? Hey, how about all those people protesting gun violence?
But that's
where are you? How come you're not? This isn't violent. Oh, missile violence is fine. Gun violence bad.
Yeah. Oh. Yeah, I can't agree more. It's hypocritical, idiotic. Well, they're all just pawns. So, hey, I don't know if you've been following this QAnon phenomena or not on YouTube. Supposedly, they're a group of insiders, military intelligence, and they've been doing all these drops. Have you happened to see that at all?
No. Tell me about it.
Yeah, well, it's basically, they're saying that Trump has a plan, along with Sessions, basically to lock up all the deep state actors and put them out of commission, however that's going to come about. And it's carefully being orchestrated, and you'll see them leak things. They don't leak. They're very cryptic messages. They're very opaque, and it's almost like a Rorschach test. But you will see periodically things that they mention coming true. And,
And what's the name of this site?
Well, if you go to QAnon, the letter QANON.pub, he's been dropping these things since October. And I kind of don't know whether to take it for real or not, but certain things just happen, and they'll put up a certain tweet or text, and then 15 minutes later, Trump will have done the identical text.
Wow.
And it's worth taking a look at. I'd love to get your opinion on it, because you've been an insider. You know what goes on. But evidently, the theory being, and I'd love to believe that it's true, and I think that it could be, but I'm not convinced that it is, that this is his plan to take out all of the dirty actors. Everything that's been going on with the Inspector General at the DOJ, with, all of these rogue agents who were looking to take him out. It kind of ties it all together. And what they're saying, and this will be the ultimate proof whether it's true or not, there's audio and video of Bill Clinton's meeting with Loretta Lynch on the tarmac in Sky Harbor Airport in Phoenix, showing that she was basically cut a deal with Clinton to drop the whole email investigation, and she would remain on as Attorney General. And then when Ruth Bader Ginsburg's seat came up on the Supreme Court, because you know that Bader Ginsburg's holding on by a thread. I mean, you look at unhealthy people under the dictionary, and there's a picture of her there. And once she goes, then Loretta Lynch gets the seat on the court, on the high court. And obviously that kind of didn't work out the way they planned. So there's audio, video of it, and supposedly it's going to be dropped. And we'll see. I mean, that will be the ultimate proof if it happens, right?
Yeah. But I don't think, my take is also with what's going on with Trump is that, there's this unprecedented FBI going into his private attorney and seizing all their information. I mean, that's unprecedented. So disgusting. I would believe that they got enough dirt on Trump to build Mount Everest, man. I mean, this guy has a reputation that didn't come out of nowhere.
Yeah, well,
and I think that he's also, he's boxed in. I don't think he's free to do much at all. That's my take on it.
Yeah, well, it's interesting, and we don't know if it's true yet or not, but we're going to find out, I have a feeling, soon. So what about the markets here? You've turned into a major market pessimist recently.
Well, not a pessimist in the sense that what we're saying is that the Trump rally is over. Mm-hmm. And, I was one of the first people to call it when it happened.
Sure.
And we're saying it's peaked. And that's about it. What's going to keep it going? Earnings are fine. And there's a lot of money going in because of the tax cuts that going down from 35 to 21%. And by the way, also the money coming back from stock buybacks. And now you're looking at Apple, for example. There was that big news, they were going to create all these jobs. And now, of course, the real news is how much stock buybacks they're doing with that repatriated money.
Yeah.
So that's going to keep the markets alive. But they're very susceptible because they're so overvalued and over-leveraged that they're susceptible to a wild card event. And as we say, there's no wilder card than the Trump card. And as you can see what just happened.
Yeah.
So that's our concern. We're not saying we're saying there's a market correction, undoubtedly, and it hit, and now it's bounced back a bit. But we don't see a crash.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, well, that kind of makes sense. Yeah, when you said there's no wilder a card than the Trump card, it just reminds me of the Trump casinos where they used to have the Trump money wheel, and there was a picture of Trump in the middle of the wheel, and when you hit enter double trumps or triple trumps, you hit the grand prize, and that's the way the government seems to be running now. Gerald, you know what I mean? It's kind of entertaining when you look at it a certain way, right? So anyways, the market's not crashing, but it's probably not going to go much higher, if at all. It's going to trade in a range, you think, for a period of time?
No, we don't believe the markets are going to crash, but we believe there's a correction. And the correction, of course, being that the markets are overvalued and overleveraged, and you can see the volatility in the markets and how they're reacting. And as we've noted, there's always the wild cards, and there's no wilder card than the Trump card.
Yeah. Yeah, well, like I say, the Trump money wheel, that was the wildest ride in Atlantic City. I just see this whole thing as an extension of the Trump, the money wheel. So as far as gold, though, precious metals, we're going to look forward probably later in the year to a pretty major increase, bull market resumption there, aren't we?
Our forecast is this, and this is the same forecast, by the way, we've had for over 4 years. Gold has to break over $1,450 an ounce. It hasn't been able to do that. When it does that, then we believe it's going to spike very rapidly toward $2,000 an ounce. In the short term, gold has to break over $1,385. Hasn't been able to do that. So it needs to do that to hit the next point up. And it's only been, the highest it's been going is into the 1360 mark. And it can't seem to break out of that. But the downside risk of gold is minimal. We see only $100 maximum, 150 tops of a downside risk. That's no risk.
Yeah.
Considering, what the upside potential is. And again, a lot of this is based upon the strength of the dollar and how many times they're going to raise interest rates. So if they raise interest rates 4 times this year, that's going to put pressure on gold. We don't believe they will, because you can see the resistance the market has to when interest rates go up. So here we are now in April. The markets began to go down and become volatile in February. Why? Because of fear of rising interest rates.
Yeah.
So that's what we're really looking at here.
Yeah. So what's going to be with these rates? I mean, there's a limit to how much they can raise them. The economy, I know corporate profits going to be way high in large measure because of the tax cut. But what else is going to happen here? The economy isn't really that strong. It appears a lot stronger in the mainstream media than it really is, right?
Oh, yes, definitely. It's not. By the way, it's weakening a lot as well in Europe. Their balance of trade, just showed a reversal toward, not buying as much overseas. And so that's an indicator. It's not as though they're exporting more, they're buying less. And so we're looking at a slowdown there as well. So and I agree totally with you. When you look behind the numbers, it's a fabrication. Americans are living paycheck to paycheck, with 78% of the people saying that. So again, you read the headlines: Bank of America earnings beat on strong loan growth, lower taxes. Yeah, you're making more money. So, but the people aren't. And by the way, the numbers that are coming out, even the inflated numbers on wage increases. So, for example, they showed 2.7% wage increase. Yeah, but that's only for supervisory jobs. Mm-hmm. The non-supervisory jobs, which are by far, the greatest percentage, they're only looking at 2.3, 2.4% raise.
Right.
I forgot, Kerry. How much has gasoline prices gone up in the year?
Like 40%, 30%.
Well, 30 cents they went up.
Mm-hmm.
But that's a lot of dough when you're not making any money.
Oh God, yeah.
So
Very
that
true.
30 cents way outweighs the 2.4% increase you got in your wages. And then there's then there's the taxes that keep going up. And then there's the healthcare keeps going up.
All insurance.
Everything keeps going up.
Yeah. When was the last time your car insurance went down, Gerald?
Yeah, I think
ever
1803.
like before they invented the internal combustion engine, I think. Then you had horse and buggy insurance, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's madness. So yeah, you look at these things, it's definitely headwinds for the economy, and maybe the fact that they got the tax cuts in there will stop it from crashing or from bad things really happening there.
Yeah, and that's what's stupid. But the markets aren't Main Street. Wall Street's not Main Street. So Main Street's going to keep taking a hit harder and harder. And also, the other thing to watch is when interest rates go up, what's going to happen to home sales? Look at auto sales already. They just laid off how many people in General Motors?
Mm-hmm.
Because of slow sales. 1,500.
Mm-hmm.
So as interest rates go up, the people can't take it because the tax burden is so heavy. And then talking about tax burdens and interest rates and interest rate burden being so heavy, now they're taking on more debt as interest rates go up, the cost of servicing that debt goes up.
Mm-hmm.
So going back again to the average consumer, as interest rates go up, I didn't mean taxes go up, as interest rates go up, the cost of servicing that debt goes up. And you look at consumer debt, you look at all of household debt, you look at college debt, you look at auto rates, you look at everything. Yeah. They're not able to sustain it.
Yeah, I don't see how. It's amazing that they've managed to keep it going as long as they have, Gerald, It's really amazing that they've done that. So next quarter, we're just basically looking for more of the same, huh? And then at some point... More
the same.
Yeah.
Yep. More the same and more volatility.
Yeah, definitely volatility is the word. For sure, it's been rediscovered, and then at some point, gold is going to make its move, and everything will wind up being revealed at that point, huh?
Yes. And going back to where we started with the hypocrisy of this strike in Syria. They had the clown prince over here marching around Saudi Arabia and this public relations tour, meeting with the billionaires, Oprah, and all the rest of them.
Yeah.
Oh, what a wonderful guy. Hey, how about that war in Yemen? Oh, yeah. You mean the one that's killed over 10,000 innocent people? That the Saudis are bombing on a daily basis? Oh, where they have a cholera epidemic that's threatening the lives of over 1 million people? Oh, that one? It's the worst crisis going on now, human crisis going on the planet today, that the United States, France, and the UK are selling bombs to destroy these people. But don't gas people with chlorine. That's bad.
Yeah. Yeah, there's a whole lot of hypocrisy going on, that's for sure.